What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talk Sports with Jake. Hope you're doing well. So, to start off, I mentioned, I think the last show I did, that Gregg Popovich his future was in doubt. It was confirmed yesterday that he will not be coaching for the rest of the season. We do not know what's going to happen going forward. But for the rest of it, he will not be coaching. He has not been on the sideline since November because he suffered a stroke. So just once again, I want to give my best wishes to Gregg Popovich. I hope for a speedy recovery. I'm looking forward to seeing him on the sidelines next season. Going to be a quicker show today. First thing I want to talk about is an Elimination Chamber preview. This Saturday is the Elimination Chamber. Of course, we have SmackDown tonight. The Elimination Chamber is tomorrow night at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. It takes place in Toronto, Canada. I'm really excited for the Elimination Chamber. We got 2 chamber matches, a couple other matches. We got a big segment, so let's get into all of it. So we're going to start from, I guess, the least important to most important, at least, I guess, buzz-wise. There's a women's tag match. It is Tiffany Stratton and the Hall of Famer Trish Stratus facing off against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. I have Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus winning this. I do think they'll win this match. Obviously, Nia and Candice been getting involved with Tiffany Stratton, of course, and then you had Trish Stratus, who had a special appearance at the Royal Rumble, and then you had an appearance in Toronto, because, of course, she's from there, and she's from Toronto, so that's kind of why she's being part of this. I'm excited for that. I mean, Trish, first of all, still looks incredible. She could probably still do this full time if she really wanted to. Obviously, Tiffany's the champ, and so I Tiffany and Trish Stratus will win that match. In the Women's Elimination Chamber matches, Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Naomi, Liv Morgan, Bayley, and Roxanne Perez. This Elimination Chamber is one of the most unpredictable PLEs the WWE has put on in a while. A lot of times you can kind of predict who's going to win. You don't know how it's going to happen. But right now, I really don't know who is going to win really any of these matches. For the Elimination Chamber, I'm actually going to say Bayley wins. Io Sky is fighting Rhea Ripley on Raw on Monday. I do think she's going to be part of the WrestleMania match somehow. I do. So I could see a triple threat. But with who? I think it makes the most sense with Bayley. Bianca's caught up in the whole thing with Jade Cargill and Naomi and who attacked Jade. Jade's apparently on the verge of coming back. Bliss just got back. I think there's something there with her and Liv Morgan. We'll see what happens. Naomi, again, is involved there with Bianca and Jade, that whole triangle there. Liv Morgan, she's kind of involved as well. She, of course, her and Raquel just won the women's tag titles from Bianca and Naomi. I think she'll beef with either of them or maybe Alexa Bliss. Roxanne Perez. Look, Roxanne Perez is incredible. One of the greatest NXT Women's Champions of all time. But she just got on the main roster. To throw her into a match with Rhea Ripley right away. Not that she wouldn't deliver. She's an incredible talent, but I think it's a little early for that. So I'm going to go with Bayley. In fact, now that I think about it, I don't know. So I think there's something there with Bayley and Roxanne Perez. I mean, honestly, a Fatal 4 with Rhea, Io, Bayley, and Roxanne Perez, I think would absolutely cook. This one's tough. Because also, and like, Alexa Bliss just got back, too. So, she hadn't wrestled in like almost 2 years. Do you throw her in the main event against Rhea? Look, Alexa's an incredible talent. She's one of the more talented women's wrestlers we've ever seen. And like, I see something there with her and Liv Morgan. But now, I don't know. I think Liv might be involved with Jade and all them. So, I think they will have a feud eventually, but they may have to push that till after WrestleMania. Or honestly, they could still do that WrestleMania. Now that I think about it, they could do something maybe where, like, it's proven that it was not Liv and Raquel who attacked Jade, and it was, I assume, Bianca or Naomi. So you know what? This one's tough. It's tough to say. I mean, Bianca against Rhea would be a great match. Bianca is one of the top women's wrestlers in the entire world. I'm gonna say, I think I'm gonna change my pick. I'll say it's Alexa Bliss. I'll say it's a luck with. I think Bianca and Jade will do something at WrestleMania. I think that's brewing. Maybe Naomi involved. Also, I'm not putting Naomi against Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. No one wants to see that. I'll say it's Alexa Bliss. I think a triple between Rhea, Alexa, and Io is really very intriguing. So I'll say it's Alexa Bliss who wins the Women's Elimination Chamber. But that one I really don't know. As for the Men's Elimination Chamber, actually, before we get to that, let's get to Sami Zayn against Kevin Owens. They have an unsanctioned match. This should be an incredible match. These two, obviously, they fought against each other. They fought as a tag team. Of course, they had that incredible tag match against the Usos 2 years ago in the main event of Night 1 of WrestleMania. One of the greatest tag team matches of WrestleMania ever. When they beat the Usos who won the tag titles. This one, I'm actually going to pick Sami Zayn. I could see Randy Orton coming back. Apparently, he's on his way back. He's going to return some point in this upcoming month. I would think the plan is for Randy Orton to fight Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. And a great way to set it up was for him to cost Kevin Owens this match and help Sami Zayn win. So I think that's what happens. I'll say Sami Zayn wins with the help of Randy Orton. And then the Men's Chamber, of course, we also have the Rock and Cody Rhodes segment at some point. I think Cody Rhodes is going to decline the Rock's offer. I do think that Cody Rhodes' heel turn is coming sooner rather than later. But I do think he will reject the offer. So the Men's Chamber, whoever wins is going to face Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania will be John Cena, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, and Damian Priest. By the way, I'm using this CVS Sports website just so I memorize who's in the matches. They have the name Jake Paul on the card. That's a massive mistake from CVS Sports. So I'm gonna say shout out to them, but not really a shout out, but I shout down. That's a critical error. I'm just gonna drop my phone real quick, pick that up. But yeah, Men's Chamber. As much as I would love to see John Cena win, I don't think a Cena fan out there. I posted him on my wall in my room when I was younger. I think the answer is CM Punk. I think somebody's going to sell their soul to The Rock and be a corporate champion. It's not going to be Cena. It certainly isn't going to be Seth Rollins. Forget with Logan Paul, obviously. Damian Priest doesn't make any sense. In fact, people were saying Jake Fatu should have been in the chamber, though I get why he's not, because he also had the match between him and Soul Sikoa at WrestleMania. And I could see McIntyre as well. The thing with Cena, look. Cena does not say he's not deserving of a 74 title. I think he is. He carried the company for 10 years. He deserves a shot. But he's just not the same guy. He's not won a singles match in 7 years. He's not been full-time in almost 10 years. Just he's a part-timer. I get, considering how many dates that he said he's going to do in his farewell tour, he should be mostly full-time for the rest of the year, the rest of his farewell tour. But he's appeared on WWE television twice since the calendar turned to 2025. The first Raw on Netflix, watched technically 3 times, coming to Saturday. The first Raw on Netflix, the Rumble, and then the Chamber will be his third appearance. Maybe if you turn Cody heel, you could have Cena and Cody Rhodes have a match. And I think that would be awesome. That would be great. I would love that. But I do not think that's the direction that they're going to go. I think it's going to be CM Punk. They've been hyping up Cody and Punk for a while now. Cody and Punk. I think that's the play here. CM Punk, I think, wins the Men's Elimination Chamber. Finish out, continuing with my NFL offseason series. Las Vegas Raiders, the first team up today as we finish up the AFC. The Raiders come with a lot of cap space. They have a lot of needs. So let's get to it. I think they will sign Sam Darnold in for agency. He just hired Pete Carroll, who's a really good coach. Not an offensive guy, but he's a really good coach. To me, I'm between the Tennessee Titans and the Las Vegas Raiders. Both teams are desperate for a quarterback. They are both. They both have the cap space to make a move and sign Sam Darnold. He's probably gonna command over $40 million per season. So I think both make sense. Well, look at what each team has. Both are not in great positions. Both are not good franchises. The Titans have a pretty good running game with Tony Pollard, also Tyjae Spears there. But their only real weapon is Calvin Ridley. And that offensive line is really bad. The defense could use a piece or two. You have an offensive minded coach there, and Brian Callahan. But then look at the Raiders. I'm like, okay, they're not much better. It's also a horrible organization. Obviously, the ownership is really bad. Both teams just hired new GMs. Raiders, but they have obviously a much more proven coach in Pete Carroll. Yes, he just got hired there, but he's obviously much more proven than Brian Callahan. The offensive line is much better over there. The weapons, you have Brock Bowers, who's a franchise tight end. Jacoby Myers is not a bad receiver by any means. The defense needs some work, but they have a couple of pieces up front that I like. So, both are in great situations. I don't see him going back to the Vikings. He collapsed in the 2 biggest games of the year for them. You trade up to get J.J. McCarthy, the 10th overall pick last year. He set up very nicely over there. I don't know why Kevin O'Connell is probably sitting there being like, if I can do that with Sam Darnold, who was being labeled a major draft bust before coming to the Vikings, a guy who they think could be a franchise quarterback and has a pretty safe floor as well in J.J. McCarthy. That's the grade I had him coming out of Michigan last year. Why can't I do it again? I think it's what he's thinking. So I do not think he will be back. So I do not think he is going back. He's not going to the Jets. He's not going back to the Jets. He's not going to the Giants. Not happening. So I think he will end up with the Las Vegas Raiders. Also, the Rams just agreed to a new deal with Matthew Stafford. So now that's probably the top veteran quarterback available in free agency. There's a bunch of vets, none of that intriguing besides Stafford. And a lot of teams are interested in Pittsburgh, the Giants, the Raiders specifically. All those teams are going to have to pivot. I think the Raiders pivot to Sam Darnold. So I think he'll probably get a contract similar to what Daniel Jones got, though Sam's obviously a little more deserving obviously than Daniel Jones. Last year, Sam had 4,500 yards and 33 touchdowns. Sam had, and then DJ had 3,000 yards and 15 touchdowns 3 years ago. So makes a little more sense here. Sam gets some more quarterback. I have been making a lot of moves. Remember, they have over $80 million in cap space. Starting on the defensive side of the ball, their secondary last year was very bad. I think they're going to lose a couple pieces as well. I think Trevor, I don't see him coming back. So I have them signing DJ Reed in free agency. I do think they will bring him in. Former Jet, he said that on Twitter for the last game of the year, can't wait to get the free agency. He's not going back to the Jets. Don't see it. They're not nearly as cap friendly as some of these other teams. Though, if they move Devontae Adams, they could change that, and they'll get some money back in June once they let go of Aaron Rodgers officially. DJ Reed will get a pretty nice contract, probably like a longer term deal for probably about $50 million a year. He's one of the better cover corners in the game. Really good player, probably the top corner available in free agency. I think the Raiders add him to make a splash. I think they bring another corner as well in Shaquille Griffin. Remember, I think they're going quarterback in the first round. They shouldn't, but I think they will. They have a 6th pick in the draft. I think they're going to be drafting Shedeur Sanders. I think Cam Ward falls is either. I think he will. I don't think the Browns will take quarterback. I think he will fall to the Giants as it stands right now. So and then at 4 and 5 is New England and Jacksonville. They're not taking the quarterbacks, so I think Shedeur Sanders. I'm going to say fall into a lap because I don't think he's very good. I think that's a major reach. No, he's not getting past 6 or 7. Let's be honest. This is the way the draft falls here and how GMs love to reach on quarterbacks. So I think Shaquille Griffin will sign with the Raiders. He's a solid corner. Had a pretty good year last year. I think he will sign Las Vegas Raiders. Pete Carroll had him in Seattle. He had some success there. So I think he reunites with Pete Carroll in Las Vegas. I think he has a multi-year deal, probably $10, $11 million a year. Something like that. Continuing with the defensive side of the ball, I think they really try to revamp defense because yes, they need a true number 1 receiver. I'm not sure if they can get a number 1. I'm not sure if they'll get like a Chris Godwin or T. Higgins, but they can find another good receiver in the draft. You have the Brock Bowers there as well. The offensive line is pretty good there, so I say focus on the defensive side of the ball. It feels like they've needed a better defense for a decade now. I mean, Derek Carr never had a defense, or I think had like a bottom 10 defense all but maybe 1 year, and he was there for 9 years. And he's been gone for 2, and defense still hasn't gotten any better. I think Jerome Baker will be a smart sign for them. Last year, he missed some games, but when he was healthy between Seattle and Miami, played very well. He's a really good player. He can rush the passer, he defend the run. He's a very good outside linebacker. I think they sign him probably on a short-term deal. Give him $8 or $9 million. And then also, they can use a safety with Trevor Mooring, probably set the walk. So Jeremy Chin, I think is the move. Came up in Carolina. He's a very good player. Hard-nosed tackle. I think he's the kind of say that Pete Carroll will like. Remember, they had Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas on those Legion of Boom teams in Seattle with Pete Carroll running the show. I think Jeremy Chin, I'm not saying he is Cam Chancellor or Earl Thomas, those two guys in their primes were the prime version of those guys were Hall of Fame players. I think Jeremy Chin is kind of like a similar playing style to those guys, especially Cam Chancellor. So I'll say Jeremy Chin goes to the Las Vegas Raiders. On the offensive side of the ball, actually, I also have them playing Tyrell Dodson. They need a captain of that defense in the middle of that defense. Inside linebacker is a major need for them. Dodson's a solid player. You add him as well. I think you can get him not for too much money. And then I also have them signing Najee Harris. Look, a lot of us criticize him that he's kind of regressed since that big rookie year a few years ago. But he's got 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Not many backs have done that in the NFL. It's very rare. He's a consistently decent back. He's barely getting to 1,000, but still, 1,000 yards is 1,000 yards. He's an average running back. Doesn't give you too much in the passing game. But then we didn't compare to his rookie year. But he's a solid running back. He's a solid starting running back to me. And I think he will be paid pretty handsomely. I could see him getting $7 or $8 million a year. I think teams will, because the running back free agent class outside of him is just Aaron Jones, and there really isn't a whole lot out. J.K. Dobbins is a name, but he's also always hurt. So Harris, to me, is probably the second best back available in free agency because of how reliable he is. You know you can count him to play every game and give you 1,000 yards or so every season. So I think they give him a multi-year deal to be their next starting back because, God, they're running him into work. I think it was the worst in the league last year. That's how I would do as far as Las Vegas Raiders. Up next is the Philadelphia Eagles. Look, the Eagles don't have a lot of money to spend. They only have about $17 million in cap space. No real way to create more. This team just came up for Super Bowl. And they are going to lose a lot of pieces, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, Zach Bourne, probably all gone. But I don't think they need to do a whole lot. Howie Roseman, to me, is the best GM in the sport. He built such a deep roster. I think they can kind of afford to lose these guys. Brandon Graham, if he starts to play next year, will come back on a cheap one-year deal. Even like Mekhi Becton, moving him to guard, did one of his first career. He had a great year. They really can't afford to bring him back. However, the Eagles have the best offensive line in the league. They have the best offensive line coach in the league, Jeff Stower. I think that's why he gets the best out of a lot of these guys. If I'm Howie Roseman, I'm thinking, why can't I take some? I can take it. There's some solid guards you can get in the second round. Take one of them in the second round, and I'm sure Stoutland will turn them into a Pro Bowler in year one. Plus, the rest of the line is all coming back. Lane Johnson, Jordan Malita, Landon Dickerson, all these guys are all pro kind of players. They're all coming back next year anyway. You know, Cam Jurgens, so they'll be fun. They don't really. No one else on the offensive side of the ball who matters that much is really going to be leaving. Defensively, get him every. So if Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis up front, he didn't play very, very well this year, but he gave Bryce Huff a lot of money last year. He was great with the Jets. He had 10 sacks last year with the Jets, and he didn't even play that much for them. So he's a talented player. In the secondary, you have plenty of firepower there. But I think they bring in. I think EJ Speed makes a lot of sense. Won't cost a whole lot. He's a solid inside linebacker. Inside linebacker is the one spot they could probably look to improve on more defense. Although I think they had the best defense in football this past year. So I think you bring him in. The other move we have them making is Marcus Epps. He was with the Raiders last year. He didn't play much. Only played 3 games. The year before was very good. I think he'd be healthy. I think he's a decent safety. Safety's very plug and play. Plus, you have 2 really good young corners in Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell. You also have Darius Slay is still there as well. He's a good veteran to have in the room. Yes, C.J. Garber-Johnson, but he's going to need a partner. You bring him Marcus Epps. So I think that's what happens. And I think they will be fine. You know, maybe you've drafted a D lineman at 32. This is the best roster in the league. They're very deep. They'll be fine. Depending on what Washington does, they should still win the division next year. The NFC is pretty weak. So outside of Detroit, who I think is set to regress, depending on what they do in the offseason a little bit. Green Bay isn't enough of a threat to the Eagles right now. Other than that, the Rams are on the rise, but Stafford, though, is still declining, so I don't think they're a huge threat right now. Seattle, until they get a better quarterback, I don't think is a threat. So, Washington's probably their biggest threat right now, Philadelphia, so. And they beat them by 30 in the NFC Championship this year. Again, that team's only going to get better. They'll make moves in the offseason, but the Eagles, I think, should still rule the NFC for a little while now. So I don't think they have to do a whole lot. I don't think they need to exactly panic. But to finish off, speaking of the Washington Commanders, to me, they are in an excellent situation because you hit on the quarterback. You have a franchise guy in Jane Daniels. You just won 12 games. We're in the NFC Championship in year one. Your offensive corner, Cliff Kingsbury, comes back, and you have a ton of cap space. So I think a big splash move for them would be to bring in Ronnie Stanley at left tackle. He's a little injury prone. The last couple of years has been much better. But when healthy, he's still one of the best left tackles in the league. Getting a little older. And like I said, in the past, he's had some injuries, but he's been helped for the most part the last 2 years. He's a really good left tackle. That's a major need for the Washington Commanders with Cornelius Lucas set to hit the free agent market. I think he's an upgrade over Cornelius Lucas, to be honest. I think you can get him probably on a 2-year deal. Might cost $20 million, but you probably get him on a 2-year deal. You gotta protect Jane Daniels' blind side, especially considering how thin he is and how much he runs. So, and you get that with Ronnie Stanley. The rest of the O-line is pretty much intact. Plus, Jane runs so much that he can escape the pocket if it does break down. Only making 2 other moves. I think this roster is really good. Of course, they can address some things in the draft. They do really need another receiver behind Terry McLaurin. I think they can get that in the draft. I think that's where they go. There's a lot of really good slot guys, wide receiver 2s in this draft. They can get that in the first round. But how about the secondary? It wasn't great this past year. Get Dan Quinn some playmakers on, in that aspect of the game. But one name I have them getting is Jordan Lewis. He comes over from the division rival, the Dallas Cowboys. Dan Quinn obviously had him in Dallas when he was the defensive coordinator there. That's why he brought over Durant Armstrong last year. He had 5 sacks this past year. Was a part of their pass rush. Jordan Lewis, I think, comes over on maybe like a 2-year deal. Shouldn't break the bank. He's a very solid corner. And you have some young corners there. He can be the vet of the group. You add him. I also have him adding DeMonte Kazee. Kazee's never really put up that great numbers. He was in Atlanta for a bit. He was in Pittsburgh recently. But he's a nice plug-and-play guy. I think he fits very well in Dan Quinn's defense. I think he actually might have had him as well in Dallas. So Dan Quinn, it's another old friend. And DeMonte Kazee, I get they need another big-time pass rusher. But I can see them maybe you get that in the first round, and then you draft a receiver in the second round, honestly. So I don't think they need to go all in, yet. Their team is still really young. And now next year, you still have a lot of cap space, to do even more, and also you see a lot of times teams, you have a year where you had no expectations, you win a bunch of games, you have a nice little playoff run, and next year they go on a spending spree, and then they kind of regress because the expectations get kind of high. Look at the Houston Texans this past year. So if Washington, there's going to be an expectation still. Last year we were 12-5, we're in an NFC Championship. I'm sure you'd want to do that again. But look at the NFC. I still think they are at least at worst the 3rd best team in the NFC. But still, there's a case where they lose in the second round. It's still a good year. They're probably still the 2nd best team in their division. I think they'll be doing just fine. So this is what I would do if I was the Washington Commanders. That's all I got for you guys today. Enjoyed the Elimination Chamber. Till next time, so long. Have a great day.